We love music. You are locked into Six Towns Radio.
Huey Lewis and the News. What a tune that is. Not the only song called Power of Love either. We're going to play the Frankie Ghost Hollywood version later. As promised, we're getting over to the phones. And I've got Sean Evans on the line. How are you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Terry. How are yourself?
Brilliant, except for the cold and stuff like that. We won't talk about that. We'll just soldier on because you're going to come down the studio today, have a chat, but that hasn't materialised. But we got you on the telephone. It's probably better with me having this illness that you're about 5 miles away.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's just a shame I got caught up with a lot of work and I couldn't make it, unfortunately.
It's nice to see that you're busy, mate. That's what's the good thing about it. You've been down to Six Towns before. You were on KNF with Harry, weren't you?
That's correct, yeah.
And I thought I'd catch up with you to talk a little bit more about the website, Back to the Movies. It's bttm.co.uk, that is the website, isn't it?
That's the one, yeah.
So, how long has that been around, first of all?
The website itself has actually only been up 3 months, but it all started a year ago when I set up a YouTube page showing a bit of movie memorabilia, some movie props that have been used in films. And I set up a Twitter page, and from then on, when I went on Twitter, I noticed that a lot of people were marketing their films on Twitter, independent filmmakers who haven't got a budget, and a lot of celebrities are on there as well, promoting their big studio films as well. So I thought, right, instead of just showing props on a YouTube page, why don't I help people out? Why don't I help these independent guys out who can't raise enough money for marketing? So I did free marketing, free advertising for independent films, and so that's how I started and uploaded videos onto YouTube for that. And then eventually it kind of snowballed into working with big studio films as well, and speaking to some big celebrities, which is always good, and just help them in any way that I can with advertising and marketing.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell you do.
Pretty much.
Twitter is a brilliant marketing tool now. Everyone uses it, and you just can connect instantly with people, can't you? Where trying to email people and trying to get them put it up on their site, it can be a bit of a chore, quite laborious. But yeah, you've done really well at it. And you said you started out with movie props. Is it something you collect, is it, movie props?
At the time, I was collecting bits and bobs. I did actually speak to a few warehouses that actually collect props and sell them on, and so I started out doing little bits of video work for them, advertising some of their products and things, and then I'd get given little freebies and things like that, so that's how I started putting them on the internet to share it with the world, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. What props have you got? Have you got anything from a big film you'd like to brag about?
Not from particularly big films, because I mean, if a warehouse is giving away free things, you don't necessarily. I'm not going to have a Death Star planted in me front room, but I've got odd horror props and things like that from TV shows and things that Bruce Willis has worn in a few films, and some stuff from horror films like Saw and Chucky and things like that. Nothing too special, but I mean, that's how I started. I mean, I started off with the little things and then worked my way up into advertising and actually marketing the films. So I've kind of got the best of both worlds there, from props to actually working on the films. Is a bit of a difference.
Yeah, I've seen like on eBay and things like that. People put up like movie props, and I bet half the time they're not real, coins that were used in Ocean's 11, etc. But you're getting them straight from the right people, aren't you? So you guarantee that they have been used in the films.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go on eBay and places like that, so many people put replica props up and claim to be the originals, and they're charging an absolute fortune, and people fall for it. I mean, you need to find a paper trail to make sure it's actually from an actual studio or from a production, otherwise you're just going to get conned out of a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, if you've got a gold ring and it costs you £3 off eBay, it's definitely not the one out of Lord of the Rings.
Exactly, yeah.
Or if you've got a lightsaber, it's probably from McDonald's Happy Meal or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I've been onto your website. I've looked at your YouTube channel. We've chatted about it. YouTube channel's got like 500,000 views on there. No, sorry, 250,000. Getting ahead of myself.
We're getting towards the 500,000. Yeah, the views are racking up at the moment. A few of the videos have actually frozen, so I can't even tell you the exact number of what I've got at the moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because what happens is it takes a while for them to count up the hits, and then they let you know after a few days. But you've got some great interviews on there. I won't go through them all straight away. We'll go through a couple of them. Who's your favourite one on there, first of all? I know it's going to be difficult to choose, but you must have one that you thought, wow, when you got it.
Definitely. There was one or two on there. I mean, Marlon Wayans from White Chicks and who plays Shorty in Scary Movie, he was the first big name this year, the really big Hollywood name that first approached me and said he would like an interview to go on my page, and that was quite phenomenal because, I mean, I've grown up watching Scary Movie, I've watched White Chicks, I love all of Marlon's stuff. Having him come to me, the page, which was quite an honour, and then there's Thomas Nicholas who plays Kevin in America, which is always good. One of my favourites because I actually got to meet him in person and we went out, we had a good night, and did the interview a few weeks later for that as well. So it's nice because I actually got to meet him instead of doing it over Skype and speaking over the telephone.
Yeah, I do quite a lot of interviews, and it's nice doing them over the phone, but meeting him, having 5 minutes, it's another level, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I've been all over the country doing it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest star. It might be somebody who's an extra, or somebody who's in a massive film, and you talk to them, and they've got the stories there in front of them, and first hand you hear these stories. But I've been quite blessed. Michael Winslow was a big one for me because I was a big fan of Police Academy, and he was doing a lot of the voices for me when we were there. I've looked at yours. You've chatted to Thomas from American Pie. Marlon Wayans, total legend. I liked Scary Movie, and before that, the Wayans Brothers series, which used to be on Trouble Channel. I don't even think Trouble Channel exists anymore. But great comedy family, the Wayans, Damon and Keenan Ivory as well. Just brilliant people. And Sean, of course, Sean.
Yeah, I can't forget about Sean. Yeah, Sean's fantastic.
Yeah. So, who do you think would be your ideal guest?
There isn't one particular person. I mean, they're all special in their own ways, depending on what films they've been in and what films that I like personally. I mean, a good few leads for next year, possibly Will Ferrell. That would be quite an interesting one to have on my page. Will Ferrell's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
Even as far as going for the top A-listers, if we go for Brad Pitt or George Clooney, any of them next year would be fantastic. But I don't really mind as long as they come over, they're interested in the work that I do, and at the end of the day, I'm helping them out.
I think you'll get there, mate, because I started off a few years ago. I had a website doing music interviews about 6-7 years ago. Then I did quite a lot of radio after that. And now at Six Towns, I've carried on doing more music, I suppose, and comedian stuff that I do. But I do get a chance to speak to the odd, movie star. Like, I think you've interviewed Jeremy Bullock. I interviewed Jeremy Bullock. I've interviewed Colin Baker, who was Doctor Who. I've chatted to, we mentioned Michael Winslow, Frank Stallone, Sylvester's brother. He's been on quite a lot. He's a brilliant guest. You'll have to get him on because he did the soundtrack to Staying Alive. Plus, he's been in all the Rocky films as well. You'll have to get him on to your website. He's really good. So many to mention. But the way you start off, emailing around, using your contacts to build up a few interviews. But once you've got quite a few and a following like you've got, people will do it, mate. They will, definitely.
Yeah, it's really surprising. I mean, when I started out, basically the first people that I interviewed were actually stunt people behind masks in films. So, for example, Dick Warlock, he was behind the mask of Michael Myers in Halloween 2. And I spoke to Kane Hodder, who was actually the stuntman who was behind the mask of Jason and all the Friday the 13th films. I think only 4 of the Friday the 13th films. And then it went from there, and it just got bigger and bigger. And now it's at a point where I'm speaking to celebrities every day, and it's crazy because when I first started, I was thinking there's no way I could ever speak to Hollywood celebrities. They're always hidden behind publicists, managers, and so many people trying to send them out for interviews and marketing and all this kind of stuff, so they never have any free time. But it turned out I'm speaking to them every single day. I mean, only this morning I had Henry Winkler wish me Happy Christmas. I mean, Happy Christmas from the Fonz. You can't beat it.
That is brilliant. Have you had a problem? This is one of the problems I've had when doing interviews with Americans, is the time difference, because it can be 5 hours or 8 hours. And it's a bit of a minefield sometimes. I've phoned up loads of people at the wrong time.
Well, time difference, I do remember that, because I got an email for the Marlon video. It was literally 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd just woken up. I saw a message on my phone. Marlon's free for the next 15 minutes. You've got to do it now, otherwise you'll never get another chance. He's too busy at the moment. So I was like 1 o'clock in the morning, half asleep, turned on my computer and did the interview, which was pretty crazy. But apart from that, I mean, I've got a little time conversion chart that I send out before the interviews, and most of them are in Hollywood, so it's either Pacific Standard Time or a time difference called PDT. I'm not even sure what that stands for, but when you convert it to GMT, it works out between 6 and 10 o'clock at night. That's when I usually do my interviews anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, you're going to have to send me a copy of that chart, because I always mess up, I do. Always. And you have to remember they're behind, so... Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Definite minefield. Would you like to be in a film yourself, Sean?
I would, yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of independent filmmakers actually ask me to be in certain films. I mean, I got asked over to Hollywood only this year to be in a film, but it's just money getting over there, and they weren't that generous enough to pay for me just yet, so I can't be doing that well just yet. But apart from that, yeah, next year. I mean, my friend Chris Stone, he's actually a Stoke-on-Trent-based filmmaker, and he made a vampire horror web series based in Stoke called Blood and Bone China.
Yes, I've seen that.
From what he tells me, he might be doing a bit of work on a new feature film next year, so that's something that I could be involved in and actually be in personally, so that's something to look forward to. But apart from that, there's not many leads film-wise, but yeah, I would love to be on film, even if it's just on set, never mind on camera.
Yeah, it's so doable, mate. You know, you start off small and you've built it up so far in a few months, you know, so heaven knows what you're going to do in the next couple of years, you know, if you keep at it. Like I said to you, I made a wish list of interviews, and I've ticked quite a lot off that list over the last few years. We did start out, I used to do a show on a Sunday, and I mentioned like some of the movie stars we had on there, and people from different series which I watched, and we had like a guest on every week. I don't do that much anymore. It's more, you know, musicians and comedians that are coming into town. But I can remember when I first started out, again, I made a wish list. So I picked a TV programme, for instance, like Kenan and Kel was one. I thought I used to watch that when I was younger. Try contact them all and see what happens. And in the end, I got Chris, the storekeeper. I thought that was quite good. That was a good start. And then, you know, we tried to go down another route, Star Wars, end up speaking to Jeremy Bullock, Kenny Baker, and a couple of others. Who else? Somebody else of Star Wars. There was another one. So yeah, if you create a list and try and work through it, you know, it will happen, mate. It will. Let's talk about your magazine. You've got a magazine, haven't you, as well?
Yes, the magazine is basically just an overview of films that I've been more involved in over the year. Because I mean, overall, there's been quite a lot of films that I've actually been involved in, but the ones that are in the magazine are the ones that I've earned credits for. I'm actually in the credits of the film. I'm actually part responsible for the marketing, the advertising for that specific film. So yeah, it's all in one magazine. We've got some local heads up, so Chrissy's Blood and Bone China's in there. We've got a local model, Emma, she's in there as well. And as well as all American Pie reunion stuff that I worked on with director interviews. And we've got a lovely Playboy model, so it's got a few nice little images in there for all the guys out there. But there's something in there for everyone, really. I mean, if you're a film fan and you follow all the work that I'm doing, then the magazine's definitely of interest. I mean, you can buy a physical copy, that's for sale, and through the website you can buy a digital magazine as well.
Fantastic. Well, I won't wish you all the luck in the world with this, mate. And I know one of the things you're struggling with is getting people from Stoke-on-Trent to get on your website and get on your Twitter account, because you've got a worldwide audience. We want more people in Stoke to click like on your Facebook group. So just give me all your contact details. First of all, the website. I know that's bttm.co.uk.
Yep.
What's your Twitter address?
Twitter address would be at Back to the Movies, but I think at the back is spelled BCK to the Movies, and that's the number 2. So it's at BCK, the number 2, and then the movies. And
is it facebook.com/Back to the Movies?
As far as I know, yeah.
Well, if you do type in Back to the Movies, you will find you, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, you take care, mate. We're going to play a Christmas song, but thank you very much for that. That was fantastic. We've got some good points across there.
No problem, Terry. Hope you have a nice Christmas, mate.
Yeah, and you, mate. This is just for you. A bit of John and Yoko.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.